On-page SEO. Now, keyword research is the foundation of all good SEO, and that certainly applies to on-page as well. And the reason for that is that proper keyword research can give you a huge head start on rankings. And if you've chosen a term that's just too tricky, too difficult to rank for, it means that your resources, your SEO resources, are not getting invested in the most effective and efficient way. I'm over here on Market Samurai now, and this is an example of a keyword that involves a lot of work to get onto page 1 and up the page. Now, we do have other keyword research videos, but just very quickly here, the couple of key indicators that I would look for are the backlinks on the page and the page rank indicating the quality of those links. And we can see here that we have backlinks to the page, remembering that Google ranks pages and not whole websites. We can see 125,000 here, 256,000, some lower counts down there, but we want to be higher up the page. This looks like quite a difficult word to rank for. However, if we have a look at this term here, Wolf Appliances, and Wolf, I believe, make big stoves and ovens and things like that. They have products on Amazon. We can see here that the backlinks on the page, and this search term gets about 12,000 exact match searches a month. We can see here we've got 35 backlinks on the page and a PR0 for the #1 site. And you can see on these other page 1 sites here that the backlink to the page count is pretty low, and generally speaking the page rank is pretty low. Now, we do have quite a few of them going for that term in the title, but that doesn't look too bad because these backlink counts look pretty low. And if, for example, we were able to get a Wolf Appliances site ranking quickly, that could potentially be a good site flip over on Flipper. So those are a couple of good examples of difficult keyword to rank for and a much easier one to get onto page 1 for. So let's discuss the individual elements of good on-page SEO, and bear in mind that this is all in the post-Panda era. The first and most important element is the title of your page. For me, I'd like to see the keyword in the title a couple of times, and your title should begin with your keyword. It's also pretty important to note with the title that you want to also try to create a title that's good clickbait, that attracts curiosity, that provokes interest from people seeing that title on the Google search results page. And a very good place to find inspiration for title ideas is over on eZine Articles. Now, I'm on the eZine Articles homepage, and they've had quite a bit of a reformat, I think, in 2011 and changed the site quite a lot. But if we type in most viewed into their search box, and we click on this top 30 most viewed articles, we can see a bunch here that have had in excess of 1 million, over 3 million different views coming in through eZine Articles, and that's obviously a lot, so these guys are doing something right. You can see some of them pose questions, they might offer numbered tips, top 5 mistakes, things like that. So I highly encourage you to come over here to look for ideas for your title for on page. But just make sure that you've got it at the very beginning of your title. And what I mean by having it in the title a couple of times is evident here on my Ideal Weight for Women site. So you can see here, Ideal Weight for Women, ? Find out here. So we can see I have a question that's kind of answered there in the title of the page. So it's kind of promising a solution to the curiosity of how do I find out my ideal weight as a woman. And further down the page there is actually a BMI calculator, a script. I think I paid $20 for that script. The next important on-page element is your H1 heading. This ideally should be your keyword that you're going for. Again, you may build in some curiosity, but that's an important signal for relevancy. Now, looking at a couple of projects that I'm developing for site flipping, we can see here on this particular site, TV stands for flatscreens.co. Here is my H1 header. TV stands for flat screen. So it's very, very clear to Google precisely what this page should be ranking for. And if we have a look at another one here, bunk beds for kids, this is my H1 title here, the heading. It's very easy to do in WordPress. You simply select it and choose that from the formatting option, but the H1 tag is quite important. The next thing we need to look at is the keyword density on the page, which should ideally be around 3%. And there's a separate video in this course on keyword density, but basically if I were to have 100 words on the page, ideally my keyword should appear 3 times to be in the sweet spot for relevancy. So let's have a look at one of the site flipping projects that I just showed you, and we'll check the keyword density on the page. So here I am on bunk beds for kids, so I'm going to select this article here. Ideally this would be done before the page was actually, the post was published. And I'm going to come over to, this is the first of a couple of free keyword density checking tools. And this one here has a 4-word keyword maximum, and bunk beds for kids is clearly 4 words. So we click that one and we check density and scroll down. We can see here that bunk beds for kids is coming back as 1.1, which is a little bit low. And I should go in and add more keywords to the page. Here's another site here. And these links are in the resources download section, of course. So here we're trying to rank for bunk beds for kids. And we can see that there we're getting a reported density of 1.2%. So both tools are showing me that I'm in that 1.1 to 1.2% range, and I need to correct that ideally. Now the next on-page element to be mindful of, and this is in the post-Panda era when Google appears to be demanding better quantities of information, better quantities of content, and of course original content ideally. Now I'd recommend that you have at least 600 words on the page, and with all of my new site flips or new sites that I'm developing, I work on 1,000 as a minimum benchmark, and that's working pretty well. And generally speaking, you can write quite naturally in that, but just make sure that keyword density is somewhere close to that 3% mark. In the post-Panda era, I also think it's very important to have proper formatting on the page in terms of headings, paragraphs, images, embedded video, and so on. And you saw on the idealweightforwomen.net site that did feature images, and it also has a script that users can access as well. So it's kind of a content-rich page, but it's also properly formatted with headings and paragraphs and so on. Shouldn't be just a huge slab of text, but should look like it has some care given to it. However, I tend not to over-optimize the page in terms of images, and I don't use the exact keyword match file name or anchor text because I think that looks a little bit too overdone and a bit too over SEO'd. So let's have a look at those two site flip sites. On TV stands for flat screens, the alt text is TV stands and the file name is tvstands.jpg. And if I scroll down here, tvstands2.jpg, so it's not a direct match because I didn't want it to look over optimized. On the bunk beds for kids site, we can see here bbk2.jpg. bbk2 is the anchor text there. In fact, I don't think any anchor text was set, and WordPress just did that by default. You can see there I also have a YouTube video on the topic embedded into the page and clear paragraph formatting. Even though I haven't thoroughly tested this, I also think it's of value to have an outbound authority link, a do follow outbound authority link, going out to an inner page of a trusted site, preferably on the topic of the site. So for example, on TV stands for flat screens, here I have an outbound authority link that goes to a CNN article. That's a do follow link that goes to a CNN tech article about LG flat screens, so clearly that is relevant. I think that authority link just gives a subtle signal to Google that there is quality here in that we've linked to other trusted authority sites and it isn't just full of spammy affiliate links. Now, of course, do follow and no follow can be effective if you're involved in PageRank sculpting, which there are other videos on in the course, but I tend not to do that purely from a time perspective. And the outbound authority link is do follow. There's no need to no follow that. Now, another good technique is to ideally not to have your site indexed or crawled or recrawled, and there are videos on precisely how to do that in the course, until you have all of these on-page elements sorted. And ideally it's great if you've got some contextual links going to inner pages with the exact anchor text that you want those other pages to rank for. An example of that is here on the Ideal Weight for Women's site again, and I'm attempting to rank this other page here for Ideal Weight for Men. So I built a contextual exact anchor text link from the home page through to that individual page, which is also ranking for that term. So it's great if you can set up your on page for your home page in such a way that you're going to give benefit to those inner pages that you're also attempting to rank for related terms to your keyword. I tend to favor these much more highly over blog roll links over here, which we can see on the left, where I also have the Ideal Weight for Men link. This contextual one is the one that really matters. So let's recap on our on-page SEO. Proper keyword research in the first place. We do not want to be taking on the make money online sites of the web, and we want terms much more like Wolf Appliances, which has healthy search volume and weak competition to rank very, very quickly. And in fact, when I use age domains and I do my on-page SEO properly, as I've outlined in this video, it's quite often that those sites will appear within the first few pages of Google without any backlinks whatsoever. So that emphasizes the importance of great keyword research, and it also shows the power of good on-page SEO. So pay attention to the title. You can go to eZine articles, look for ideas there, and create interest, clickbait through your title, but ideally it should be the very first thing in the title, and don't keep it too long either. Your H1 heading should be your keyword that you're attempting to rank that page for, the most important one, if you have several. Word length should be at least 600 words, and I don't do any new sites with pages under 1,000 words now. And those free tools are available to check on the keyword density, and the sweet spot there you're aiming for is around 3%. Proper formatting of the pages include paragraphs, headings, and so on. It should look like some care has been taken there. And ideally you want to have some rich content, images, videos, tools, possibly PDF downloads, and you've seen some examples of those. But I also want to mention one other aspect of on-page SEO, and there is a separate video on this, but I did just want to cover it here. And that is, because most of us are working with WordPress on site setups, it's very important that you change the default setting on WordPress permalinks to what you can see on your screen there. So make sure that you watch that video so that you're getting that extra SEO advantage of WordPress, which is not there in the default position. And just a quick recap on the inner page. If you're attempting to rank several pages on a site for different related terms, just attempt to get those contextual links on the home page, preferably before you get Google back to recrawl, so that those inner pages will get the benefit of Googlebot coming to visit straight after you have that set up. It's also of value to review the site structure video in this module of the program, just to touch on some related concepts if you're not sure about specifics of how to do that.